So I talked about this before, but we have seen it many, many times in the mainstream media, but they never talk about it, they never address it. They kind of just move around it and pretend that it doesn't it's not exist. The conspiracy theory, as they often would say. But this is the good point about a conspiracy theory. Nearly 99% of the time nowadays, it's nearly accurate and on point. And the mainstream media reports are nearly always the fake news, let's put it that way. But anyway, as even though in Ireland, the Western world, and the Western world in general, birth rates are in the toilet, literally. And many people would say that's because less women are having less children and stuff like that. And some women are not having any children and things like that. Years ago, would have been unheard of women not having children and things, or settling down and having the family. And it's many, many things. It's many, many things. But even in here in the moment in time in Ireland, in County Cavan, I know many people. I know many, people that I everyday life, I suppose, and then different relationships and stuff like that. And the main thing I hear about young couples, particularly in the 20s and 30s, when they talk about children or into that, is simply one. It goes down basically the one thing that it's just they don't have the finance for it. Like I know many couples that they're getting, they're not married obviously, but a lot of them are not married because that tradition's kind of gone, being married before you have a baby and things like that. So a lot of them live in their parents' houses because they can't afford a place. So first of all, you need to have space when you have a baby or when you have a children, because eventually they're going to grow up and you need space. You need a playroom or something for them. You can't just be crammed into a small area. Let's put it that way. And even just the cost, again, it's just straight up the cost. How in the name of God can you afford to pay to feed the child, to make sure they get a good education and stuff like that? It all adds up. It's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of euro. And simply people don't have, simple as that, people don't have it because the cost of living is gone way out of people's proportions. We're way above our heads. And the wages that people are getting every day of the week, even though we have to just get this straight. People are walking their backsides off. I've seen people are walking themselves into early graves to pay the bills. And simple as that, we have to say it's strange. People shouldn't be doing that, walking themselves into an early grave. It's simple as that. Life is too short. People should enjoy it instead of walking their asses off to pay the bill, just to pay one bill, the electricity bill, or to even just pay the rent. People have to walk their fucking bollocks off, and that's simply not fair for people. Obviously, first of all, but generally, it's a huge commitment, obviously. But I do think in Ireland we should take. Oh, obviously nowadays the government have a problem with people having a family. They don't like families. They don't like a father and a mother. They don't like that. Obviously, they hate it. The one thing they hate is family. They don't like children. They don't like people having a father and a mother. They want you to have, I don't know, fucking the most. You know yourself. It's insanity that they don't want you to have a mother. They don't want you to have a father. They want you to have the same gender of whatever they make up, I suppose. It's insane. We have to just call it as it is. It's simply not good enough, because we've seen everybody needs a mother and everybody needs a father. Because let's be fair, and this is a controversial. Well, I probably shouldn't make it because it's a controversial statement. But you know yourself. But what we have to do in Ireland, first of all, we have to try and help, like as they do in Hungary. Hungary, take for example, they encourage women to have children by saying you won't pay any income tax or things like that. We reduce it. We tax you less or something like that if you have children. So women are having an incentive, and they don't have the burden of saying, if I have a child, I have to pay for childcare and stuff like that. In other countries, they like it. Take for example in Finland. Many things that Finland do, but childcare costs are subsidised very heavily, more than this country. And women can say, I can have a job and have my baby at the same time. They can go to a creche or whatever, and the government nearly pays all of it, and that's good. And the women will be like, yeah, I have a job, I have a good job as a I don't know, an investment biker or whatever, and I could go and do that, and and my child will be looked after. And that's what women, again, what they need, security and stuff like that. They need to able to be able to put they look after the children, have the physical means to look after the child. And not even that too, we see with even though they're talking about doing it here, the baby package, I suppose you would call it. They get clothes and stuff put together in a baby kind of package, a bundle, I suppose you would call it. A baby box, which you would call it. Now they're talking about doing that in Ireland, but obviously Ireland's 900 years away from it. But they should have done it from the start, because families are struggling, particularly when you have a young child. It's a big investment to buy a cot, to buy different things. It's a lot of money, and I do think that's one way we should encourage, that the government should subsidise the cots, buying cots and buying different things for newborn babies and stuff like that. That would encourage mums and dads to to have a baby and things like that, and many other things. I do think we should probably tax people who have children less. Families that have children have the more children have, we tax them less. That's what that way. I couldn't speak that 1 second, but that's where we should do it. We simply should, because we have to encourage women to have children. We really do have to, because as you see in Ireland, the birth rates are in the toilet. But again, many people say years ago they had bigger families and stuff like that, which is true, but there's more to it than that, I suppose. Let's put it that way. But you're not allowed to talk about it, obviously. It's strictly prohibited, as they say. But we do have to acknowledge the elephant in the room, I suppose, in that regard. But that's just simply. I just wanted to talk about it, because we do have to support. Again, I know so many young people. First of all, they're trying to buy a house. They're trying to get a house. They're trying to get some roof over their head, right? And they're trying to pay off a car loan. They have mortgage on the bike. How good in the name of fuck could you afford to have a child? Like, let's put it that way. It'll be a miracle. So let me know what you think and subscribe for more. Bye.